Hi everyone, my name's Rhiannon from Blue Dog Board Games. Today I'm going to do a solo playthrough of the small roll and write game Ganz Schön Clever. So there's not much more to say about this game going into it. It is just a dice rolling game and you are filling in various boxes with your dice rolls. So we're all set up ready to go, so let's just get stuck into it. So I will just talk you through what goes on. First of all, there are 6 rounds in a solo game. And so there's a little round tracker up here, so we're going to go ahead and tick off the very first box. And you will see that underneath there is a little symbol, which is a re-roll symbol, and this is where we track all of our re-rolls. So we're going to just go ahead and circle that first one. We're then going to roll all of these 6 die, really pretty die, and we select one to use. Now, the colour of the die depends on where you can use it. So you will see there's a yellow section, a blue section, a green section, orange and a purple. And the white is a wild die, so it can be used in any of the boxes. I will just very briefly go over what colour does what. So yellow, you just take the value of the die and tick off that value anywhere in this grid. And at any columns that you complete will earn you these points at the end of the game, and any rows you complete will give you a bonus, and the diagonal order gives you some sort of bonus. The blue, this is where you add the value of the blue die, whatever it is rolled as, and you add that to the value of the white die, and then you tick off that value. And again, bonuses are sort of gained through columns and rows. And there's a bit of an accumulation of this one, so the more blue boxes that you tick off at the end of the game, the more points you're going to earn. Up to 56, which is, I've never got that high. Green, rather. So this is where you just tick off in a row. You cannot sort of like tick off down here, you have to start at the left-hand side. And you're just basically following what it says. So the first one is greater than or equal to 1. So if you draft the green die and it is greater than or equal to 1, you can tick that off. Otherwise, you're not able to tick that box off. So for example, it does go up to 5, and at the very end of it, you have to get a 6 to actually tick the box off. And again, the more green values you have, the more points you'll have at the end of the game. And you may get some bonuses as you go along. Orange die, you just write the value in the box, and the value of the orange segment at the end of the game is the total of all of your numbers in all of the boxes. There are some multipliers along the way, so there's a ×2 here and here and here, and a ×3 at the end. And then finally your purple section, you just write the value of the die as before, and exactly the same as orange, the purple values at the end of the game are the total of all of the values you've written in your boxes. The difference being, though, that each subsequent number has to be greater than the one you've written in before, with the exception of 6, because 6 resets the sort of values, so you can start counting again from 1. So without further ado, we are just going to go ahead and draft our first die. So I think we're going to go ahead and draft this 3. Now when you draft a die, you pop it in one of your die slots. You see there's 3, so we're drafting up to 3 die on our turn. So we have drafted the 3. I'm going to use that here as a like a blue die, essentially. So what happens is you add the blue and the white value together. So 3 plus 5 is 8, and then tick off an 8 in that segment. Then what happens is you have to put on the platter, the silver platter, any values that are lower than the die you've just drafted. There are no values lower, it's only equal to, but that doesn't count. So then we go on to the second section of our turn and we re-roll everything again. And then we draft our second die. I'm going to go ahead and draft this blue. So now I'm taking this value of the blue plus the white is 6. So I'm ticking off a 6. And this locks out the green because this is value 2, so I cannot re-roll that. But for our third die, we are re-rolling these, and we can choose whatever value we want for our third die. I'm a bit torn. I don't know whether to go for the purple one or the orange 6. I'm going to go for the orange 6. And we just write that value in there. Then what happens is we go into the passive phase. So this works very slightly differently in a solo game, but in a solo game, we re-roll all of these die, and we put on this platter 3 of the lowest value. If there's like duplicates of the lowest value, you do whatever's closest to the platter. So we've got a 2, a 3, and a 3, and the green is slightly closer. From here, we select one of these die to use on our sheet, and then we proceed to the second round of the game. None of those are amazing for me. I don't know whether to take the green 3. Yeah, let's take the green 3. Let's take the green 3. So because it's 1 or more, we can tick it off. And then we go to the second round of the game. So these come off. We tick off round 2 and we get a +1. So let's add that to our little bonuses. This means that we're able to draft an additional die at the end of a turn. So once we've drafted or selected all 3 of our die on our turn and they're filling our die slots, we can then use one of the +1s to reselect a die. So that could be anything that's in the platter, basically anything anywhere we can redo again. So I'll show you what I mean when, if and when we get to it. So let's select our first die. I'm actually going to select this white and use it as a green because it's wild. And then that's not locking any other colours out because there's nothing lower than a 2. Okay, at this point I think I'm going to select the blue 2 so I can tick off a 4, which locks out green. And then I think what I might do is select that orange 6 again, very similar to our first go. Now, do I want to draft anything else while I'm here with my +1? I don't think so. That means I can reuse any of these if I want to, but I don't think I want to. So we're just going to go ahead and go to the passive phase. Ooh. We got a 1. Oh, we got some high values. Thing is, I don't really want a high value as the purple. Therefore, I think what I might do is go for the yellow 4 and tick off this one. Yeah. Okay, now we're on round 3. We get another re-roll. The re-rolls can only be used when you're the active player. So I'm the active player right now. You do like alternate active and passive turns. Once again, we have got a white 2 and I am eyeing that white 2 up. I'm gonna go for it. White 2 to get a 5 because 2 + 3 on the blue is 5. That doesn't lock out anything again. This is very unusual. At this point, I think I'm tempted to use this orange 5. So I'm going to do that, which gets me a re-roll. It does lock out all of these, but see, that's what I wanted. Then I wanted to use that here because remember, you can only put in values greater than the previous value, with the exception of when you put a 6 in, it resets. Do I want to draft any of these die as a +1? I think I might, you know. So I'm going to tick off one of my +1s and I'm going to redraft that 5. And I've got a bonus box here, so this is ×2. So I actually write a value of 10 in here. That's quite nice. And then we go to the passive phase. So we got a 2, a 3, and a 3. Okay, so what do I want? I think I may draft that blue to get a value of 9, which gets me that column, which gets me a re-roll. I really should be using these re-rolls. Okay, 4th round of the game. So this bonus, this round, this is one of our last bonuses because we don't get a bonus in round 5 or 6. We're able to cross off any box of any colour, or if it's not a segment that you cross off a box, you can write a 6 in any value box. So what I might actually do is try and get some bonuses going. Where's the best bonuses? I think I might tick this segment off. That would be pretty good. No, actually. Yes, I am going to. So I'm going to choose to check off a box. What I'm going to do is check off... Do I want to do that? No, what I'm going to do is something different because a 12 is much more difficult to get than a 7. So I'm going to choose to check off this box, which then gets me this column, which gets me a +1. Whether that's a good idea or not, I'm not sure. Time will tell. So let's go into round 4. So I'm going to select this purple too, and that doesn't lock anything out. Okay, I'm going to be a bit sneaky and choose this yellow 6 to tick off this box here, which unfortunately locks all of these out. And I get a 5, which I can use. So I'm going to draft that. At this point, I'm actually going to use my +1 again. So I'm going to use my +1, and I'm going to use it to draft this die, this orange 4. So I put a 4 in here, which gets me a box to cross off in the yellow segment. So I'm going to cross that off, which gives me 20 points at the end of the game. Okay, so now passive turn. That's a shame, we got 666. Okay, oh, that's quite nice. So I'm going to probably choose that blue 4 because we've got a total value of 10 here. That will tick us another box off in the blue. But then the orange will give us another +1 at this point. I can't use the green. I think our best bet is going with the blue. So to tick off 10, let's go with that. And then round 5. Don't feel like this one's going to super well. You're supposed to be able to get up into the, like, I think it's 280 total. Yeah, over 280 is like a really good score. I've never got close to it. I've got 250 something, I think, before. Ah, perfect. Here we go. So this is exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to draft this white 2, which gives me a total of 7. So I'm going to tick off the 7 in the blue segment, which gives me an extra box to tick off in the yellow segment. What do we want in the yellow segment? Let's go for a high value. So we're going to go for the 5 up here. Now that doesn't lock anything out. Ah, perfect. Look at this. So I'm going to draft this blue 1 to get a total of 3 to tick this off. That doesn't lock out anything. Okay, so a lot of 1s. So I can't use that green. I can't use the purple. I could use the orange, and I can use that, but I don't want to use that. I have got lots of re-rolls. It could be worth using a re-roll, or I could just draft that, which is worth 5 points at the end of the game, and it will also give me a +1, which could be useful. No, we're actually going to use a re-roll. So that is re-rolling all the die that you've not yet drafted. Don't know whether that's any better, so that's still useless. I can't use the purple 2. I don't really want a yellow 5. I could use the green. That might be useful. I'm going to draft the green. Green 5 to get a +1. And I wonder if I should actually use that +1 to draft this orange 5 to put that in there, which gets me an extra +1. I don't think I want to use any others. So we just go into passive phase. So we've got these. What do we want? Still don't want the purple. Don't want the green either. So the only one that we can really go for is orange. We can't use re-rolls right now, so that's our only choice. It is a ×2, so it is a value of 4. Okay, so very final round, and we don't get any bonus. So we're just gonna go ahead and roll. So we can't use the green, can't use the purple. I really do need to tick up my purples a little bit more. I don't want to use the blue, I can't use the blue. I don't really know if I want to use the red 4, probably not. I don't really want to use the orange. What would I use that white for? It would lock out basically everything. So we're going to re-roll everything. You know what, I think I might re-roll again. This isn't going very well. That's not what I want either. I'm really worried because the foxes at the end of the game, they give you points according to the total value of your lowest scoring segment. So for example, if you were scoring only 3 points, so for example, now I'm only scoring 3 points in the purple segment. So each fox is going to be worth 3 points at the end of the game. So I really, really want to push up my score in them, because in a second I will probably be getting some foxes, but I'm just not going to be scoring hardly anything off of them. You know what, we're going to try once more. If we don't use these re-rolls now, we're not going to be using them because we're on the last round. So I think we may just go with that. Again, this blue is just not working out for me. I've got 2 empty boxes in blue. The yellow I don't really want. I think maybe I will go for it and then hope for the 4 to get an extra fox. No, I'm gonna go for this purple. Purple 4 does give me a re-roll. It locks out this and this. And then what I might try and do, no, that's not going to work anyway. I really wanted to sort of get it up into this section because this gives me a bonus in blue. I really wanted to do that. What I'm going to do then is, this isn't a very good idea, but we're going to do it. So I'm going to draft this as a purple 5, which gives me a bonus in blue, and then that allows me to tick this off, which gets me a fox, which gets me a 6 in the purple segment, which gets me a +1. And unfortunately that locks out these for me. Now I do have +1s to use, and I'm going to use them both now because I cannot use them in the passive phase. So I do have, the blue is not useful. The yellow, I've got a 5 and a 3 that I could use because I could use that as a yellow, but there's no other 5s, so that's useless. So these 2 are useless. This one would get me an extra fox, which would be good. That is useless. This could be used as a green, and then I could use that. Oh, that might be the better combo. Let's think about it. If I draft that, that would get me a yellow box to tick off. But then I'm not going to be scoring anything else and I won't be able to get any bonuses. So that will stop there. So I'm going to draft this. I can't remember what my combo was now. I'm going to draft, tick off a +1 to draft this as a green 5. And then draft this as a green 3, like it is, which allows me to tick off a blue box, which allows me to tick off a green box, which gets me a fox, and it also allowed me to tick off a box with a 5 in it. No, sorry, add 5 in the orange segment. There we go. So now, final bit, the passive phase. We got a 2, a 3, and a 3. So what do we want? Purple could be used, but it won't really do a lot. Green could be used. That will be worth 6, 7, 8 points. So I'm going to use the green 3, to tick off that box there. Okay, so that is the end of the game. We now go into final scoring, and the scoring sheet is very helpfully on the back of this, but it's really weird. I flip it over like that, which then needs to be done like that. I feel like they should have flipped it the other way around. They should have mirrored it. But anyway, so yellow segment, we score each segment and then we do the foxes at the end. So yellow segment, I've only got completed 1 column, so that's 20 points. So let's write that in. Blue, I have managed to do all 11 boxes, so I get 56 points for the blue segment. Green. So green, I've managed to tick off all of these, and it tells you along the top how many points. So 36 for green. Orange is the total of all of them. So we've got 12, 17, 27, 31, 36, 40, 45. And purple. So we've got 3, 7, 12, 18. And then the number of foxes that we have, I think we've got 2. So we've got one here. Oh, we've got another one here actually. 3 foxes. So that's 3 times our smallest scoring section, which is purple, which is 18. So I'm just going to go and get a calculator, and then we can do the final score. So the 3 times 18 is 54, and if we add all of those together, we come to 229 points, which isn't too bad. It tells you on the back what sort of segments there are. So 229 is impressive. We get 2.5 out of 5 stars. We needed to get 240 to get to the next level. So that is what a genius. So so yeah, that is Ganz Schön Clever, the little roll and write game. And as it's such a small game, I will just give you my very, very brief final thoughts in just a second. But thank you very much for watching. So just very briefly sharing my final thoughts on Ganz Schön Clever. This is a game that I picked up for a very, very cheap price. It was under £10. I'd heard quite a lot about it from various people taking it on holiday and playing it lots of times solo. Many, many people have played it like a very large amount of time solo. And it's also a really good party game. And so when I saw it on sale, I was like, why would I not for that price point? And yeah, it's definitely a very good game that I would recommend at that price point. It's highly replayable because it's quite addictive. You want to sort of try and beat your own score next time. It's very combo-tastic, if that's a word. I like seeing all of those combos take off. It's very rewarding, and it's lovely to look at. The dice are very pretty. The pens that it comes with are very nice. It's like little felt tip pens. I've laminated a couple of copies of the sheets, so I usually use the chalk markers on top of the laminate sheets. But yeah, The pens work really well. There's not really too much to say about this game other than for a very cheap price, the quickness and swiftness of play. It's a very, very good game to add to your collection if you want a small box solo game that you can just break out at any particular point. The box is even like a little dice tray in itself, so you can play it anywhere, and I would recommend. It's a good game, and I would like to introduce it to more people because I think it's a very approachable and easy game to get into. That's Ganz Schön Clever, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you've played this game down below, and also what you think of the other alternatives to this one, because I believe there's a very high number of these sorts of games. I think there's like That's So Clever, or that's this one, I think. That's Pretty Clever. I think That's So Clever, That's Very Clever. There's lots of them. And they all play reasonably similarly, I think, but just a few different mechanisms and different things that you do with the dice. So let me know what you think of those ones, and if you have any more preferences instead of this one. But otherwise, have a lovely rest of your day, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.